I'm Kylie.
And I'm Corey.
And we are Lit Libations. Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
We are joining you today with a special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Uh-oh.
That's Maisie.
So Maisie, for those of you not watching
and just listening,
is a foster dog that I picked up two days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she is a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and she is around 3 to 5. I didn't really get any information about her history or anything like that. So, I mean, it's obvious she's had a couple litters, at least one.
Yeah. And she was rescued from...
She was rescued from a puppy mill that like shut down. I don't really know much about the info, but the rescue that I worked with took in 8 of these female Cavaliers. And I applied to foster and I got one.
And she's just simply the cutest dog.
Oh my God, she's so sweet. I fear for her back legs. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe I'm hoping she's just weak in the back legs. She's not like walking the greatest, but she is walking around and oh my God, she's just resting her hand on Kylie's arm, or her head on Kylie's arm.
Oh God, she's just the cutest.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to try and do a little mini series on our TikTok about Maisie's story and her, updates and stuff like that. But adopt, don't shop, guys. Seriously.
Yeah.
Please.
She's in better condition than I was afraid that she was going to be in. Her nails were all overgrown, almost to the point of going into her paw pads. But luckily they weren't. So I clipped them all up and she's feeling a lot more comfortable and a lot happier now.
She's just going to have the best life now.
Yeah, she's loving the couch.
I'm just obsessed with her. Oh, I love you so much, darling.
She's very sweet. So she's going to hang out with us today. She's not going to make any trouble.
No,
not a peep.
She doesn't make trouble.
No, would never.
Okay, so the book that we're doing today is It's in His Kiss by Julia Quinn, part 1.
Woohoo! Through chapter 11.
Yes. And I have to say, so far, even reviewing it all, I really like this book.
Oh.
Already.
Okay, good. Did you read it all?
Yeah.
Okay. You said already, but at the halfway point, you still liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. Here's the thing, right? So obviously, like everyone in these books has something in their life, something traumatic that's happened or is happening. But I will say that this book overall, I do feel like is a bit more lighthearted than all of the other books.
Yeah.
Like just a little bit more light. There is like there's strife. There's some sort of like drama aspect to it, of course, as all stories have to have something to make it somewhat interesting. It is like a little bit, I don't want to say lighter because I don't mean like that, but it's not as like heavy and dark and where it's like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like that's so sad. I mean, it's still so sad.
Yeah,
it's
some
the
of it's
lighter
kind
one.
of sad. I thought some of it. I was crying a lot.
Were you crying a lot?
It was about like all the family aspects, like with Gareth and not with his brother.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Not the dad stuff, but the brother stuff.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. Never mind. I take that back.
It's heavy.
I immediately take it back. It's pretty heavy.
All right. Before we get super into it, go join the Facebook group. We had a couple people join last week, actually 2 in one day, but
that's so exciting.
It was exciting. So yay. The website is up and running. So go check that out. It's called litlibationspodcast.com. It's not 100% perfect, but you still need to give me your bio. So far it's just me.
Fuck, Aaron. No, yeah, you're right. I do.
No worries though. No big deal. I'm still working on a print on demand merch option. It's probably going to take me a couple more weeks to have time to get into that. But if you have any design ideas, send it to litlibationspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So those will be easily accessible.
Another fun thing I think would be fun is if anyone has any like niche drink options that they like, alcoholic drink beverages that they really like, that they want to send in for us to try. Like send in to like let us know to buy it.
Don't
obviously.
don't send the physical product.
That's just like suggesting. Please do, because we always like to try new things, or like even recipes for us to try or anything like that. Would be really awesome.
Yeah,
too.
that's a good idea. Yeah, because we're kind of just like day of, we're like, oh wait, what are we drinking today?
Yeah. What's your vibe? What's your mood for a drink today?
The mojitos last week were so good.
It was genius.
And I also wanted to announce again, because I feel like people listen to part 1 of each book more than part 2. I've been noticing a lot more downloads on part 1, which is fine. But we're going to be reading The Uglies trilogy by Scott Westerfeld after this. It's a young adult futuristic dystopian about a society where everyone is considered ugly until you're 16, where you get an extreme surgery to turn you pretty.
Yeah, that's
and then
so
it
cool.
follows a 15-year-old girl on the brink of her 16th birthday.
That is interesting that people watch part 1 and not part 2, because in my opinion, I think most of our part 2s are better.
They're so funny.
I think our part 2s are like way funnier.
Yeah, and it's the conclusion. Like, how do you skip that?
I know. Like our part 2 for Francesca's was like,
oh my God,
far and away better than our part 1.
I'm so excited to listen to that tomorrow.
It was so good.
But that movie is coming out on Netflix on September 13th. So we'll have the whole first book released by the time that comes out. So that's fun. And then we're planning on launching our Patreon soon, which we have not yet, but we're going to be releasing It Ends With Us. And we were also thinking of doing like watching the Bridgerton and like talking about Bridgerton episodes. And what?
We also had a fanfic.
Oh yeah, someone said in some fan fiction.
Yeah, I think we should mix that in there as well.
Oh, we can make that a whole separate episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should.
Ooh, I'm so excited. We got like 8. Did you look at it?
No, I haven't looked at it yet.
I didn't read any of the stories. We got like 8 different links.
Oh my God. This is going to be so good. We'll see. I'm so excited.
And that's all Bridgerton fanfic, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So that'll be fun. Okay, I think that's all.
Yay. Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah.
We ready to dive into Hyacinth?
Oh no, we have to talk about our drink.
Are we ready to dive into our drink?
Yeah. So
same.
So yesterday we went up to my family's lake house and we stopped at the gas station and then there was like representatives for this drink. They were like, hey, do you want to try this drink? And they're sparkling like hard seltzer waters.
Yeah, they're super good. I think it's called a what is the name of it? Is it Long Drink? Okay.
But it like the whole name is the Finnish
Long Drink Legend of 1952. The Finnish Long Drink Legend of 1952. And you know what? We had these yesterday and they're honestly fucking delicious. I personally think they have a lot of flavor. If you like seltzer drinks and you like maybe a little bit more flavor than, you know, like a White Claw or a High Noon or what's that other one? Truly even. I think it even has a little bit more flavor than Truly.
And I feel like it's less sweet. So it's not like as like...
Yeah. If that's your vibe, if that's what you like.
Super flavorful. So good.
Then this is for you. And it's 5.5% alcohol and... I was going to say calories, but I don't know.
There's no nutrition info, but you can look it up online. I think I Googled it and the website has nutrition info.
And it's gluten-free.
And, oh, good.
So, and it's a product of the U.S.
Oh, good.
If you like that.
That's important for a lot of people.
Yeah.
The lady at the grocery store said, at the gas station or whatever, said it was like a gin drink. But I didn't see that anywhere on...
It says right here.
Oh, does it?
Gin with natural. This one's
this one too.
Traditional citrus. Gin with natural grapefruit and juniper berry flavors and carbonation. That's this one.
Wow.
What is your?
Mine says the same thing.
Oh,
except it's pineapple and other flavors.
Yeah.
Oh, so what we have grapefruit, pineapple, and cranberry today.
And we're gonna pop these bad boys. I'm gonna take a little sip.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Do you have anything you want to say?
Good girl, we love you.
I agree wholeheartedly too. And that's such a vibe. Slay.
It's so good. I mean, a straight pineapple. It's so good. Yeah. But not like
sweet.
Yeah.
Too sweet.
Like, what is the word I'm looking for? Processed sweet.
Ooh, yeah, really good. Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, they sold us. We bought 2 8-packs, so.
Yeah.
Like done. Boom.
Sold. Long Drink, reach out to us.
I'll reach out to you. Don't worry. You'll be hearing from our representatives, aka me.
Yeah. This is not a sponsorship. We have not.
No, we don't have those.
Not specifically at all. Okay. All right. Are we ready to dive into the
let's
story?
get into it.
I think Maisie's ready.
Yeah, she's getting more comfy.
Yeah. Okay, we start in the prologue. We have a prologue this book. The last couple, I think, haven't had a prologue.
Just Francesco's, I think.
Just Francesca. I'm being dramatic.
It's been a long ride.
Okay. It's 1815, 10 years before our official story begins in earnest. Gareth St. Clair and his father do not get along at all. They both do pretty much everything in their power to avoid one another at all costs so that they don't argue, because every time they're in each other's presence, they argue. Gareth is 18 at this point and was at Eton for school, which I forget how long, like I think they go to Eton maybe 14 to 18 and then Cambridge after that.
Oh, okay. I have no idea.
That's an assumption. I could be wrong. And he's supposed to be there for another 2 months. And then after that, he'll head to Cambridge for his schooling there. Him and his father didn't agree on much, but they did agree on having him have a proper education. That was a non-negotiable. He had been summoned by his father back to their home immediately, which was very unusual because it was like, head back here with haste, son. I'm sorry.
It's okay, sweetheart.
I'm sorry. I have a loud laugh, honey. I'm sorry. I'm gonna calm that down.
She doesn't care.
I love you. The butler.
Does he have a name?
Yeah, and I'm trying to pronounce it. I don't know.
Where are we looking? Oh my God.
I wrote it down specifically for all of our butler names.
Guilfoyle?
Guilfoyle. The butler, Guilfoyle, showed him to his father's study. When he enters, they played a little game of whoever speaks first loses. It wasn't like an actual game. It wasn't like a sanctioned game.
Yeah. I do remember this part. Yeah,
like playing chicken.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
The dad is an asshole.
The dad is an asshole. It's important to note that Gareth is a second son and therefore not set to inherit anything. His father told him that he found a way for Gareth to be useful to the St. Clair family, and that was he was going to marry Mary Winthrop.
All right.
That's going to get a little... Mary. It seems that the St. Clair finances are being managed terribly by the Baron, and they are in need of a large dowry to help out their finances, to settle all of their debts. The Winthrop family was supplying their daughter with a rather large dowry because Mary has some sort of mental disorder. They didn't specify what.
Yeah, what? What did they say? She was simple?
So, yeah, they said simple. Yeah,
she has like the mind of a child.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Gareth describes it as in her mind, she will always be a child.
Okay, so I don't want to speculate on what that could be.
Because the words that they used to were just like really not super.
They're just non-specific
great.
In general.
Yeah, and also kind of like super offensive. But it's fine. It's not fine, but it's...
Yeah, we're moving on.
Historically accurate, I suppose. Because of this, he is very much against this arrangement. He had known Mary his whole life, and he did really like her, and he took care of her as best as he could. Like, he would defend her when bullies were being rude to her and stuff like that. So he was a really good friend to her, but he felt like it was really wrong. Like, she wouldn't understand the marital duties that would be expected of her, and it just...
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
It felt gross.
It didn't feel right.
Him.
It's not right.
Exactly. His father told him that he had to marry Mary if he wanted to go to Cambridge because they didn't have the funds without that marriage. It had to be Gareth that married Mary too, because he would, quote, never subject George to that.
Yeah. And George is his older brother?
And that's like how we said it. He's like, I would never subject George to that.
But I don't care about you that much, so...
That's just so, it's just all so horrible. This is horrible.
Find a different woman. There's got to be another family. Like, come on.
I mean, even the way they talk about it just makes me like...
Yeah, it sucks. It's not good.
Feel icky. Gareth asked why him. He was his son too. The Baron told him that he's not his son. His mother had an affair and he was a byblow. This shocked Gareth because he looked just like the Baron. He's like, what?
He's like, what do you mean? That's not right.
Yeah, and the Baron was like, yeah, an unhappy coincidence.
Oh, God. Was it his brother? Oh, my God. I don't know. I didn't read the
end. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I do know. The Baron,
No spoilers.
The Baron said he fed him and clothed him and legitimized him when he didn't have to, so Gareth owed him. He told him if he didn't marry Mary, he would be cut off financially and he would be through with him forever. Gareth told him he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't marry her, and he walked away.
Good for you, Gareth. Good for you.
Chapter 1. Okay, 10 years into the future. 10 years into the future.
My jaw dropped.
You didn't like that?
I don't know.
Okay, we are with Hyacinth and Penelope at this year's Smythe Smith Musicale. It makes a second appearance.
I love it.
Smythe Smith Musicale. Hyacinth and Penelope are going back and forth on whether or not it was a good idea to come to this musicale. Penelope likes to come to support the girls that are performing, even though they're awful musicians. And we talked about this a little bit in Penelope's book and why her and Lady Danbury come to this.
They're nice ladies.
Hyacinth got swindled into going with Penelope because Colin refused to go.
That's so funny of Colin outside of his book.
That's so crazy of Colin. Colin's doing crazy kid things. Lady Danbury joins them in the front row, and she also likes to come and support the Smythe Smith girls, like I just said 5 seconds ago.
That's okay. They said that.
Hyacinth seems to also be very close with Lady Danbury, which I did not know was a thing prior to this.
Well,
yeah,
it's
which
convenient.
is great. She goes over to her house every Tuesday to read to her. I think that's so cute.
It is so sweet.
I just think that's the cutest thing
No,
ever.
it's the best. I love it.
Hyacinth has the same level of intelligence and wit as Lady Danbury, and that's why they get along so well.
Oh.
She's like a little mini Lady Danbury.
Yeah.
Lady Danbury tells them that she blackmailed, or rather heavily guilted her grandson into coming this evening.
That was funny.
I know.
Another mention of blackmail, but
yeah.
it wasn't like bad.
No,
It was funny.
It was innocent blackmailing.
Endearing.
Her grandson being Gareth Sinclair.
Junior. Wait, no. The first.
Junior. Gareth, I'm obsessed.
Aww.
I saw that coming.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, no, I don't think I did. Oh, wait, I did because they set it up like so obviously, but I was surprised.
Yeah. I will say, like, the way that he was like kind of freaking out about having nothing if he walked away from his father, and then Lady Danbury being his grandmother, I was like, okay.
You're good.
You're fucking fine.
You're good.
Chill out.
Yeah, you got won the jackpot there.
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy is he is her favorite grandchild. If not one of her favorite people in the world, is what I said.
Did they mention how many grandchildren she has? I think she has quite a few. And
I forgot the number, but
there's
it's a lot.
passage about all of her descendants. It's hilarious.
We'll have to find it.
Yeah.
She doesn't like her other grandkids.
Like anybody.
At all. Hyacinth reflects how she's 22 years old. She's 22 years old.
Yeah,
people.
we were always asking every episode, how old is Hyacinth?
So we were like on the nose when we were talking about it. I can't remember if it was in Eloise's or
I think it was in both.
Yeah, or Francesca's or Penelope's. The last 3 books.
All 3 books. Yeah.
So yeah, she was 21 at that time. Spot on. She's 22 this year. That's amazing.
All right.
And every year she's on the marriage mart, her proposals decline in like number. So like the first year she had 3 proposals. I think the second year she had like 2, and then the past year she only had 1. And then the year that they're on right now, she hasn't had any.
Oh.
So they're just like going down and down and down.
It's getting less interesting.
She believes she's getting less interesting. I don't know if that's it.
That's not true at all, but
She believes it's because she is very intelligent and witty, as we said earlier, and she can rarely let anyone get the last word. Quote, it could only be argued that she was growing less popular unless, of course, someone was foolish enough actually to make the argument, in which case Hyacinth would have to take the other side, facts and logic notwithstanding, and she'd probably win the point too.
That's hilarious. I love Hyacinth.
And so even in her own mind, she's like arguing with herself.
Yeah, she's like, well, if I did get into an argument, I would win, and not with facts, with just like grit.
Yeah, people are stupid if they argue with me because I'm going to win that argument.
Yeah, it's so funny.
When she thinks of Gareth, she thinks of his reputation, and she states, this is my favorite quote in the book for some reason.
Oh.
And it's not for, I sent you a voice note on this. It's not for why you think.
Oh.
Quote, there are plenty of other men who behave with equal lack of propriety, and more than a few who were as handsome as sin. But Gareth St. Clair was the only one who managed to combine the two to such success. Do you remember when I sent you that voice note?
No. Why am I blinking?
I sent her a voice note because I think it's so funny. That sentence to me implies that maybe just for Hyacinth, but there has not, in her head, been a man who has been as handsome and also as rakish as any other man.
Yes, I do remember now. Yes,
than fucking Gareth Sinclair, which is hilarious for me as a reader because every single book.
Simon. Okay, let's go through it.
Simon was handsome as sin and a rake in every way possible. Antony was handsome as sin and a rake in every way possible. Benedict.
Yeah.
I would say he was a rake and handsome. Colin was a rake and handsome.
Definitely.
Philip, he was weird.
He's the odd one out.
He was weird as fuck. But then Michael was the ultimate rake sinner.
That's all they talked about in that book.
That's all they talked about, how handsome, charming, and rakish he was.
Yeah, that's so funny.
And then Hyacinth's like, this is the only man that's ever combined being handsome and a rake.
Like, wow, this is too much for me.
I went on a whole tangent because I just thought it was the funniest freaking sentence I've ever heard in my entire life.
Funny.
I was like, what are we talking about?
It's book 7.
Yeah, it's like the first time we've ever seen a handsome rake. Like, what do the other men look like? Handsome as sin and a rake, please. Please. Okay. There had been a young lady who swooned for him at an earlier ball this week, and she was irritated because really, his known type was not well-bred ladies. Okay?
Yeah. Like, he's not gonna go for you.
He goes for opera singers and widows and actresses.
Yeah.
That was his known type. Gareth arrived, and him and Lady Danbury have a bit of witty banter, with Hyacinth occasionally mixed into the fold. And at one point, he even takes Lady Danbury's cane and gave it to Hyacinth. And Hyacinth was like, what? Someone touched your cane? Like, what? That impresses Hyacinth, and he even makes note of it, to which does kind of vex her. Like, he says something to her, like he notices that because her jaw drops, and he's like, oh, finally I've impressed you. And she's like, fuck this guy. Fuck. He notices. As they speak, she is very aware of how attractive he is and how she has to shift closer to him because the person next to her, how do I say this?
He needed to reserve two seats for the musicale.
Yeah. And so he was kind of onto her chair and causing less room for her. So she had to like shift closer to him. And she was like, oh my God, I'm touching him. Yeah. He asked her twice if anything was amiss because she was like sweating about it. And she was like struggling.
Like, no.
She wants to make an escape to the ladies' room so she can then sneak to the back row when she returned, the way she did the last year. But right as she was about to get up, the musicale started and she was stuck where she was.
Dang. Whatever.
Whatever.
Do you know what I'm upset about? There was no mention of Honoria.
Which one is Honoria again?
She was in the musicale. She was one of the Smith girls.
They did mention her. Not by name, but she was the one on the cello, wasn't she?
Oh, the one that Penelope could tell. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They did. I couldn't remember her name. Yes.
Honoria.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't forget about her.
Oh my God. I can't remember if you remembered her name.
Oh my God, of course.
That's amazing.
That's hilarious. I love that part. I clipped it. It's still saved. I'm going to post it one day.
The Honoria.
Yeah.
Honoria. Oh God, what an unfortunate name. She has to play at the Smythe musicale and her name is Honoria.
Yeah. That's so funny.
That is such a rough life. Oh my God.
Maisie update. She's just snoozing. She's just chilling.
She's just perfect.
We love her.
This might be our dog. Just joking.
She's the new pod dog.
The new pod dog.
I feel like we should put her up here for emotional support every week.
I don't disagree.
Okay. All right.
She's making me nervous though. I'm stuttering because of her.
Aw, it's okay. She doesn't know English. It's okay.
Oh. You're right. Chapter 2. Lady Danbury is the only person in the world that Gareth would sit through terribly played music for. Then it was over and he told her he was never coming to this annual event ever again. Mm-hmm. He knew Lady D liked to come to these because, quote, 3 of them couldn't tell an elephant from a flute, but there was always one who was ready to melt in misery.
That's our girl, Honoria.
That's I love her.
Yeah.
He knew she wanted to support them for that one girl who was clearly miserable. When they all stood to applaud, Hyacinth immediately gave Lady Danbury her cane back because she was like, I don't want none of this smoke. I don't want any of this smoke. Gareth made a point to call her a traitor for some reason.
Did they just meet for the first time just now? They have so much chemistry.
They do. They have so much chemistry
right
already.
Off the bat.
Immediately. After she made a witty remark back, he reflected on how he liked Hyacinth. She was witty and smart and annoying, but he admired it. He admired it all. He once inquired to his friends on why she had not yet been wed, and they told him that they all liked her well enough, but in small doses, and she was never one to feign stupidity for the sake of a man, and they don't like that.
They're like, I need a dumb girl, or
I need
someone that's willing to pretend.
Yes.
Jesus.
I don't like being challenged. Make it easy.
I hate that so much.
So annoying. Lady Danbury joked with Gareth about her cane and then told him she was off with Penelope to find some lemonade. Lemonade
for her promenade.
Yeah, and that he needed to keep Hyacinth company. When they left, he turned to
Hyacinth. Every single Bridgerton name has 3 syllables except for Daphne.
Daphne.
Antony.
Benedict.
Colin.
Eloise. Francesca. That's
Hyacinth
annoying as
Gregory.
I hate that so much.
Oh my gosh. It makes it so hard to type, makes it so hard to talk about. Oh
Hyacinth was the worst one for me to type.
Yeah.
Because at least I could shorten the other ones.
Yeah.
And like make little nicknames. I think I called Francesca Fran because I was annoyed.
Yeah.
But you can't really do that for Hyacinth. When they left, he turned to Hyacinth as she was scanning the room. I'm assuming scanning for some gossip because it's been established that Hyacinth loves gossip.
She's always looking around. She's like, what's going on? What are people doing?
And she's always very in tune with it as well. Okay, they talk a lot in this chapter. I'm sorry. There's just like a lot of talking throughout pretty much this entire book.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I shortened all of it up to like, they have a lot of banter.
yeah. I'm
That's
gonna
one
try
of the things that you have to just go read to figure it out.
I'm gonna try and sum up the important stuff as best I can.
Okay.
They talk about why she's scanning the room and why she's always has to be a detective. They talk about whether the Smythe-Smith musicale was really and truly done and why no one has told them how bad it was, like the Smythe-Smith family.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But to be fair, Hyacinth's like the audience has gotten smaller over the years, so I don't know how they haven't picked up on context clues, like because what the fuck. Yeah. The audience left was all kind-hearted people.
Oh.
He asked if she included herself in the list, and she said yes. I love that for her.
Do you disagree?
He's like, do you include yourself in the list of kind-hearted people? She's like, yeah.
Of course. Like, why would I say no?
Yeah, I'm literally the nicest person alive. What are you talking about?
What the hell?
What are you talking about? He reflects on his grandmother again. It had been her she went to when his father kicked him out. She never liked her son-in-law, so she was more than happy to take Gareth in. He wasn't honest about the fact that his mother had cheated on his dad, his father-ish guy, and he didn't want to dishonor her in that way to Lady Danbury.
So Lady Danbury doesn't know?
No.
Okay. Got it.
He was surprised when his father didn't immediately publicly disown him, but his father had contracted some disease at 27. They didn't say what. And by the time that he was 30, he had passed on. And now Gareth was
who? Who?
His brother.
Oh,
Gareth's
George.
brother.
Right.
George.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And Gareth was the sole heir to the St. Clair baronship, ? Because I don't know what it's called. I don't know how you say that. Baron?
I don't
Baron
know
title, baronship.
I don't know. Baronship, I love.
Okay, we'll say baronship because I think that sounds the best. He waited for his father even then to publicly denounce him, but still he hadn't. And he figured it was because it would cause such a public scandal. And also it wouldn't matter even if he would have disowned him because he technically had legitimized him anyway by like...
Because he was born when they were married?
He was born when they were married, but even though he was born when they were married, he still like
legitimized him some.
Well, how do you like claimed him? He claimed him as his own.
Got it. Yeah.
And that legitimized him.
Yeah, so it's legal.
So it's even if it's not by blood.
Yeah.
He was sure that someday he would out the secret right at the most inconvenient time for Gareth. Like right when he was like supposed to move up in the world or like
I wonder if that's
get married
gonna
or
happen.
whatever. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't feel like foreshadowing to me at all. What about you?
No. It's just a line.
Just a line in a book.
Yeah.
It could mean nothing. Gareth's mother had left Gareth a little inheritance that gave him enough to live comfortably on. And that was controlled by Lady Danbury. So that's why he had access to it. So because when he went to Lady Danbury's like, don't you even worry, son. I got you. Your mom got you. There's some money put aside for you. Mm. He was worried that if he ever did take over the baronship, he would take on a tremendous amount of debt, considering his father was really bad at handling the finances. It felt like he was doing it intentionally.
What is
like
he doing over there?
Oh my God, he was racking up those debts, which is crazy to me because he's not that old. Like, right. He's not any older than Hyacinth 50.
Comments that he looks youthful and handsome.
So it's not like it. Like in reality, he should be dying soon. Right. He snapped back to reality when Hyacinth asked him if he was okay. They decided to take a turn about the room because Hyacinth was still sitting next to that gentleman from earlier and still kind of being bumped into by the gentleman. And they talked again as they were walking, mostly teasing one another. She tells him she thinks he's not as dangerous as he would have people led to believe because he loves his grandmother so much.
She sees right through him.
Oh, immediately. And he tells her that she doesn't have a subtle bone in her body, and she doesn't.
No, that's pretty consistent
throughout the whole thing. Yeah. They talk about how men have to be tricked into marriage, whether they know it or not, which is crazy. It's just a crazy thing to talk about.
Yeah.
And then they really start to flirt, and he lightly kisses her on the knuckles, like brushes his lips against her knuckles. It's so hot. In front of everyone.
Oh my God.
And he tells her to let him know how he feels about her when she decides. Does that make sense?
Say it again.
So he tells her, he goes, let me know how I feel about you when you decide.
How you feel about
how he feels about. So like if I was like Corey, let me know how you feel about me when you decide.
Oh, okay.
Or how I wait.
Yes, clarify.
Let me know. Okay, hold on. If we were like dating and like I was like, Corey, not dating, courting.
Had the first date, okay.
And I was like, Corey, let me know how I feel about you when you decide. Because Hyacinth's always in charge.
Oh.
This should not take up this much.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
I shouldn't have even written that down.
Hyacinth
I just thought it was hot. Yeah.
I love it.
I thought it was like a cute,
dude,
like a nice line.
Oh my God. They have such chemistry.
Because this line leaves her speechless. Like so speechless she couldn't even talk. And she was playing with the fire, flirting with him, but it was exhilarating. She loved it. She acknowledges this. She tries to speak, and he stops her by saying her being speechless is a rare moment. Not in a mean way, though. I wrote that. Not in a mean way.
It was endearing.
Because what he said about that, like literally, she was like, and he was like, this is hot.
I took the words right out of your mouth.
And then before she could say anything else, he bids her goodnight and he leaves.
Love it.
What a weird interaction.
I like it.
I like it a lot.
He just comes in with such confidence.
Yeah, I can't believe that took me so long to explain. It was, listen, to be fair though, like to myself, because when I read it, I didn't understand until I had to read it like that line like 3 times. So I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's good.
Like, let me know how I feel about you.
Let me know how I feel about you. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Chapter 3. 3 days later, and our hero learns that one can never really escape one's past. By the way, the little sections that lead each chapter, it was whistle down, and then it was letters, and now it's just like a straight up narrator.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it.
That's whatever. I don't care.
I guess.
Take it or leave it. Gareth is in his study when his new and sadly for the time being nameless valet tells him that Caroline, his sister-in-law, was there to see him. Caroline was George's wife, by the way, and their marriage was a love match. So that was a really tough loss on everybody.
That makes me sad.
Yeah. She has for him a diary written by his father's, heavy in quotes, mother, so his grandmother, on his father's side. Caroline does not know that he's an illegitimate child. Anyway, she had found the diary amongst George's things with a note from George instructing her to give it to Gareth. The diary is written in Italian, and Caroline advises finding a trusted translator as we don't know what's in there. He thinks this over and decides he'll take it to Grandmother Danbury. If she can't read it, she'll know someone who does. Meanwhile, in a drawing room not so very far away, Hyacinth is reading to Lady I'm just going to say Lady D. There's too many goddamn syllables.
No, you're not wrong, because that's what I started writing after a while.
Yeah, and they say it sometimes in the book. They shorten it up to Lady D. Hyacinth is reading to Lady D every Tuesday. Hyacinth reads a single chapter out of a book to her. And it seems like Lady Danbury prefers smutty books.
Yeah, this book is smutty, isn't it?
The one that they're reading?
Miss Buttersworth and the mischief.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but it's about some Priscilla Buttersworth and a Mad Baron.
And Mrs. Butterworth and the Mad Baron.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just deleted that last part, but I didn't know.
The Mad Baron.
Yeah.
And she comes up a lot throughout this book, so I had to name it.
And she's hanging off a lot of shit. She's hanging off a cliff. She's hanging off the buildings. She's hanging off.
Running up that hill.
Running up that building.
That's what she's doing.
She is. She's running.
Anyways, their banter is really quick, and it's so funny. I love them together. They have a back and forth, and Lady Danbury asks, "Do you know why I like you so well, Hyacinth Bridgerton? Because you, dear girl, are exactly like me." Hyacinth refuses to read another chapter because that's not what they agreed on, so Lady D changes the subject to Hyacinth's marriage prospects. And she is not thrilled at this subject change, but promises that if there were an intelligent, unattached man in London, she would set her cap for him. And they say that phrase a lot, too. Are you going to
set her cap?
Yeah. I feel like that's the first time we've heard it in this entire series, isn't it? Maybe just because they say it so much.
I definitely feel like they've said it before, but not as much. Yeah. Like, not this much.
It's like every chapter, like, who are you setting your cap for? Girl.
I'm going to start saying that. I'm going to bring that back. Set your cap back.
This is my husband. I set my cap for him.
Yeah. You probably set your cap for anything. I'm going to set my cap for trying to get Long Drink to promote us.
Yeah, promote us.
Yeah.
I'm going to email them.
Yeah, for a sponsorship from Long Drink.
It's so good. Oh my God, we love it so much. Anyways.
Set your cap on this next bullet point. It was funnier in my head. I don't know.
And before Lady D says anything, Hyacinth says, "Stop mentioning your grandson." They both agree that he was handsome, though. No one could deny that, even Hyacinth. Quote, "There were some people for whom good looks were a fact, not an opinion."
He is hot.
He's hot.
Just like every other man.
Yeah.
That has been married.
Super rakish, yeah. Lady D makes a comment that thankfully Gareth inherited his brains from her side of the family, which is not true from all of her descendants. And then she said, Lady Danbury's eldest son famously gotten his head stuck between the bars of the front gate of Windsor Castle. Some kind of stuff like that. I think that's so funny.
They never say how old he was, though. Like, he probably was like 8.
But if he was like 3 and 30.
If he was 3 and 30 and he did that, that's crazy.
That'd be hilarious. And then she says, "Serves me right for marrying Lord Danbury when I knew he didn't have 2 thoughts to bang together in his head."
Oh my God.
So funny. Lady Danbury tells her, "Gareth is a rogue, it's true, but that's easy to overcome. Just yank your dress down a little bit next time you see him."
Oh my God. My jaw dropped when I read that.
That's so hilarious. You know what? My grandma made some comments like that when she was still alive, and I'm like, oh, I just love that so much.
That is so funny.
That's so funny.
Oh my God.
And then my next line was, "That's hilarious."
That's hilarious.
Because I can relate to that. But Hyacinth thinks that will never work because she's a member of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee. It seems, but whatever.
Can't really. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
You can't.
What are you saying? Are you saying I have little titties?
No, you can't relate to her.
No, I can't. No, I can't.
That's all I was saying. You just attacked me.
I thought you were saying like in disbelief, like you can't. I thought you were saying that.
You
I was like, why are you looking at me like that?
No. Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. Moving on. Then Lady Danbury tells her they should write a book together. Hyacinth is not about it, but Lady Danbury asks her to think about it. Then Gareth makes his appearance. Him and Lady Danbury also have a ton of quick and funny back and forths. They're so cute. Hyacinth thinks, quote, he was a puzzle, and Hyacinth hated puzzles. Well, no, in truth, she loved them, but only if she could solve them, yeah.
Yeah.
He asks about Priscilla Butterworth. Is that her name? I think so.
Butters, either
I want to say
Buttersworth
Buttersworth.
or Butterworth.
I think it's Butterworth. But I'm
oh my God, isn't that a fucking syrup?
Yeah, I can't.
What are we doing?
I want pancakes right now.
What are we doing?
Maybe that's where it originated.
Oh no. Is that a real book? We should read it if it is.
I don't know. Look it up. Okay. Gareth asks how Priscilla Butterworth is doing, and Hyacinth thinks to herself, how bad of a rogue can he truly be if he visits his grandmother like 3 times a week, and that's how he knows what they're reading. Meanwhile, Gareth thinks how he had forgotten about Lady Danbury's and Hyacinth's weekly visit, and he thinks to himself he would have come later or the next day to avoid them, but whatever. Because if Lady Danbury thought he'd come because of Hyacinth, it would take months to dissuade her, and that would just be like so annoying. Gareth then asks why Hyacinth visits weekly, and she shrugs and says, because I like her. And she asks him the same question. And he was about to say, because she's my grandma, but thinks about it. Quote, Lady Danbury was a number of things to him. Trial, termagant, and bane of his existence, but never a duty. So he just says, I like her too. Gareth is intrigued by Hyacinth because Lady Danbury wasn't the easiest person to befriend. And basically, it was really nice that Hyacinth sacrifices her every Tuesday to hang out with her. After this, he decides it's safe to mention the diary in front of her. Chapter 4. At which point, Hyacinth's life finally becomes almost as exciting as Priscilla Butterworth's. Minus the cliffs.
Yeah, that would be a bummer. Also, it's not a real book, but Julia Quinn and Violet Charles have written a graphic novel based off of it.
Excuse me, Violet
Charles.
Did she name Violet? Did she write Violet after this Violet?
I don't know. I don't even know who Violet Charles is.
Sorry, I got distracted on that. What would you say? They wrote a book together about it?
It's a graphic novel.
Oh, cool.
Based off of it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I want that.
Yeah, we got to look into that.
That's funny.
That's pretty
fun.
sweet.
I love that. Gareth hands the diary to Lady Danbury and tells her it was Gemma St. Clair's diary and explains it's in Italian and, quote, you are always telling me you know everything, or if it's not everything, then everyone. And then, okay, this part confused me. And then Hyacinth said, you said that to me earlier this afternoon. Like, okay, that to Lady Danbury.
Oh, yeah.
I know everything, and if not everything, everyone.
Yeah.
And then, quote, Mr. St. Clair turned to her with a vaguely patronizing thank you, which arrived at the same moment as Lady Danbury's glare. And then Hyacinth hated the feeling that Mr. St. Clair thought her deserving of condescension.
So maybe like, he was like,
oh, thank you. I don't need your input.
Thank you. Yeah,
but why?
Thank you. I don't know.
Why is he being condescending?
I don't know. I feel like, here's my thing, right? Like, if they always say like take the narrator's point of view with a grain of salt, because I feel like Hyacinth is kind of like
an unreliable
yeah,
kind of thing.
Like maybe he didn't mean to be condescending at all.
Yeah, misinterpreted it.
Yeah, but she's like already kind of like wanting to dislike him because she's like so annoyed about how people swoon and the fact that he's a rake, and like she doesn't want to like him, and like she still thinks he's hot.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a lot going on.
Okay. All right. There's another confusing thing later, but we'll get to that. All right. Hyacinth announces she can read Italian. She's not fluent, but she should be able to get the meaning out of a page or two. So Gareth gives the book to her, and she cracks the spine open, and she's like, oh, the pages are really brittle. And he's like, what does it say?
Yeah, immediately.
Just like, relax. I haven't even fucking looked at the word. Like, not a single word.
She just said okay, and this is how she says she knows Italian. Her like first lady's maid spoke fluent Italian. Oh, governess. That's what it was. Spoke fluent Italian and taught her when she was like a child. So it's been like a long time since she spoke Italian, or like
she just wants to impress Kara.
This is actually kind of crazy though, because like I and maybe I'm stupid, but like
I feel like you say that once an episode.
At least, right? But like here's the thing. How does she remember that? Does she still use it like every now and again? Like how, if she used it a little bit with her first governess for like a couple of years, because it was when she was young.
Yeah.
Like, and then she went all these years maybe without learning it, like knowing Italian or
like speaking it.
How does she still remember it? Yeah. I wonder if she kept up on it specifically for.
I don't know. Some people have better memories than others.
Yeah. No, it's because I'm
and it's not because like a level of intelligence thing.
No, it is.
It's not. It's not. Some people have really good memories. Plus, it might have been her impressionable years.
That's
she
fair.
might have just stuck with her.
Yeah.
It's not that big.
I do still remember how to say the Pledge of Allegiance in French.
Okay. See? And how often do you recite that to yourself to remember?
I use it as an anecdote when I meet people.
What do you mean?
Every now and again. I'll use it as an anecdote or like in a conversation if I want to like say like seem interesting. I'm like, I did learn
like an icebreaker.
I learned the United States Pledge of Allegiance in French.
Never have I ever. Or put a finger down it. Two truths, one lie.
People are like, who the fuck taught you the United States Pledge of Allegiance in French? What the fuck? That's the biggest contradiction.
How did you learn that?
I had one semester of a French class, and that was like one of the only things that I learned. It was, or like remember learning.
Okay, should you
was
recite
the
it?
United States right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Je promets fidélité au drapeau et des États-Unis d'Amérique et à la République qui représente une nation sans la protection de Dieu, indivisible, juste et libre pour tous.
Juju.
Dieu.
I love it.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, good job.
I probably fucked that up, actually. I got nervous.
No, it's whatever. No, I wouldn't know, but I think we have a lot of Canadian listeners, and they might speak French, so.
They're going to be like, you sound like an idiot.
Let us know, right in.
I'm actually not going to be offended. It probably does suck. I learned it in 7th grade, and like,
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And it's probably not great, but it's fine.
I thought it sounded great, and I don't know, though. I don't know. Anyways, Hyacinth is reading a couple of lines from the journal, and she says she's writing about her upcoming wedding, which she is not happy about at all. Hyacinth says she needs more time to work it out, and Lady Danbury encourages her to take it home, as they'll all be seeing one another tomorrow night at the Plinesworth poetry reading, which is apparently worse than the Smythe Smith musicale.
Because she used to be a Smythe Smith.
Okay.
Mrs. Plinesworth.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love this like little like side stuff so much.
I do too. These little side quests.
It's so funny. Gareth tries to make excuses as to why he won't be going, and Lady Danbury says something like, well, you know, if you loved me enough, you would go.
I'm getting old and frail and fragile.
Oh,
what? Fragile? What's fragile?
Fragile. That's fine. He relents and says he'll be there, and Hyacinth tells him to bring wool for his ears. She feels giddy because she might be able to help him with the book and impress him in turn, which is annoying, according to Hyacinth. But she did want to prove her intelligence and wit. She kind of gets breathless as he escorts her to the door and comments that he's never seen her at a loss for words, except for the other night. Isn't that right, Hyacinth? Remember the other night?
Remember the other night when you couldn't speak?
Yeah, when I left you breathless. If I was Hyacinth, I'd be like, oh my God, it's on. Like, this guy, he likes me.
I'd be like, where's the nearest bedroom?
I'm ready to be compromised.
I'm ready to be compromised. That's the theme for these books, in my opinion. I'm ready to be compromised.
Yeah, hit that point.
Yeah.
But she says, quote, you barely know me. And he says, your reputation precedes you. And she says, as does yours. And then he's like, touche, Miss Bridgerton. And they do that a lot.
It's so good. They're so smart.
Yes, they bounce off each other so well.
I know.
They have what is it? What do they say on Love Island? The good chat.
They go goodbye. Yeah.
Goodbye. Hyacinth arrives home. Her mother has been waiting for her. This is not good. Violet tells Hyacinth that some women named Charlotte. All
the women named Charlotte.
Here's the thing about Charlotte's.
You gotta learn about Charlotte's. It's time to have the talk about Charlotte's.
Oh my gosh. Violet tells Hyacinth that some woman named Charlotte is getting married, and of course Hyacinth is quick with a joke criticizing the Earl that she's marrying's ankles. I guess he's got like fat ankles or something.
Got puffy.
Yeah.
He's got a sodium intake issue and she's making fun of him.
Yeah, poor ankles. Oh. She says, quote, Mother, you have 6 married children, and they all are quite happy with their choices. Why must you try to push me into an unsuitable alliance? Violet asks/begs Hyacinth to at least look for a husband, and she promises she does look. She said, I went out every day this week. I even went to the Smythe Smith musicale, which I noticed you didn't go to. And then Violet's like, bit of a cough, I'm afraid. Couldn't make it. She asks about Gareth since she heard she sat near him, and asks if she likes him. Hyacinth thought about how it felt like he was silently laughing at her, and she could never tell what he was thinking, and he left her feeling unsettled and not quite herself, which sounds really bad, but then she's like, I like him somewhat. Violet thinks that they'd be a good match, and that he 100% would not consort with opera singers if they were married, and his reputation also wouldn't matter, and things would just work out, and it's because of a feeling that she had. And then Violet kind of drops like a truth bomb on Hyacinth and says she's not sure Hyacinth would know the right sort of man for her if he arrived at their door on an elephant. And Hyacinth said something like,
I think the elephant would be a pretty good indication that he's not the one.
yeah, which is like a deflection.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, I don't even think that Gareth likes me that much. And then she's like, nonsense, everyone likes you. And then she's more straightforward and says, you won't set your cap for Mr. St. Clair because he scares you. And Hyacinth insists that's not true. So Violet asks, why haven't you married? Do you even want to get married? Hyacinth thinks, quote, she looked at her mother and she saw a matriarch, a woman who loved her family with a fierceness that brought tears to her eyes. And in that moment, Hyacinth realized that she wanted to live with that fierceness. She wanted children. She wanted a family. Then she swears to her she does want to marry, and she's been looking. She's had 6 proposals. Yeah. Then Violet says, then why are you attracting the wrong sort? Like, you've had all these, you want to marry and all of them are not good. Like, why is that? She tells her, every time you meet someone who can hold his own with you, you push him away. Quote, any man that is your equal is not going to allow you to manage him as you see fit. And Hyacinth is not understanding. She's like, well, I don't want that. Then Violet tells her a long story about when Hyacinth was born, and it's actually very sweet.
Oh, it's so sweet.
It was. Violet was scared to have Hyacinth because Edmund had just died right before she was born, so everything would be new and different with her than with her previous 7 children. She was terrified that she would fail Hyacinth in some way. But when she was born, Hyacinth blinked twice and already just looked so sure of herself, and she let out a wail that made Violet smile for the first time since Edmund had died. Also, Violet expected Hyacinth to look like Edmund, or was like hoping that she would, but she ended up looking exactly like Violet. And then she I know.
That makes me want to cry.
It's so sweet. And then she tells Hyacinth, quote, from that moment on, you were so dear to me. I love all my children, but you saved me. I just got chills. Hyacinth in that moment felt very, very grateful that she'd been lucky enough to be her child. It's so sweet.
It's really, really cute. I'm actually obsessed.
I have tears in my
Oh,
eyes.
honey. Oh, I love you.
I'm fine.
Oh my God, I love you.
I'm fine. Because Violet loves her so much, she tried to give her as much freedom as possible, and she's worried that she was too lenient. Quote, you are so used to being completely comfortable in yourself and what you say, but what I think happens is that when you don't feel that way, when something happens to give you unease, well, you don't seem to know how to manage it, and you run, or you decide it isn't worth it. And that is why I'm afraid you will never find the right man, or rather, you'll find him, but you won't know it. You won't let yourself know it. Hyacinth is kind of shocked into silence at the vulnerability both of them are displaying, but then she tells her, I'll think about it, which I think is really mature of Hyacinth not to feel any type of way and just like stew on it. Like, is that really real? I'm going to think about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Chapter 5. The next evening, in the drawing room of the estimable Lady Plinesworth, for some strange reason, there are twigs attached to the piano, and a small girl has a unicorn. Has a horn on her head. She is a unicorn.
She is a unicorn and has one.
Yeah.
And owns one.
She has a unicorn and is a unicorn. Gareth sits down right next to Hyacinth without even glancing around the room at the Plinesworth poetry reading that's turned into a play. Hyacinth explains that it's an original composition by Harriet Plinesworth called The Shepherdess, the Unicorn, and Henry VIII.
I can't even begin to imagine what the fuck that is about. But all I know is I have to see it.
Right.
I would die to be there. I'm not even joking.
So funny. And Gareth's like, you're joking. And she's like, no, I literally can't make that up. I believe you.
Yeah.
They have the best banter in this chapter. Hyacinth thinks people will think he's trying to court her, and he jokes about most men being sheep. Where one goes, the other follows. And if people think he's courting her or he's interested in her, then other men will want her as well. And she does want to get married, so that works out.
Yeah,
we've
heard this comparison before of men being compared to sheep. I think it was in Daphne and Simon's.
That makes sense because Simon, that was the same reasoning for like
doing the ruse.
Yeah, because the other men will want to marry you.
Yep.
It's about to start, and Gareth wants to make a run for it, but Lady Danbury walks in and sits several rows behind them. And it's not lost on them that she's playing matchmaker. She was never subtle about such things. Then Hyacinth turns around. She turns around back to the front and sees Violet, who pretends not to see her and sits down next to Lady Danbury.
I just picture Violet just like, oh.
Looking at the ceiling.
Whoa.
Like, no,
this is crazy. I'm gonna sing Lady Danbury.
That's so funny. I love it so much. Hyacinth thinks about their conversation and all the men that she's met on the Marriage Mart. This was an interesting quote. There had been a gentleman during her first season with whom she'd been positively tongue-tied. He had been intelligent and handsome, and when he looked at her, Hyacinth had thought her legs might give out. But then they move on.
That's crazy.
Who was that guy? Then we just move on to... She also had like some sort of feelings for one of Gregory's school friends.
Yeah, what?
Who is that guy?
What?
Go to him.
I don't. You do not like Gareth?
No, he's fine. I like Gareth.
Okay.
There's like a couple of things that are like eye roll, but that's with every single one of these.
Yeah,
guys, so.
yeah. I mean, he could have blackmailed her.
He didn't do anything that bad.
No,
he really didn't. Okay, we'll get into it.
Yeah,
but she admits to herself she avoided those kind of men and didn't really know why. She realized Gareth is everything she always wanted in a husband. He comments that she looks like she's going to be sick, and she says, "I don't get sick, and I don't swoon either." So don't even think about that.
I'm not gonna do it. Okay,
don't even look at me. I'm not swooning.
Yeah.
She tries to talk herself out of these feelings by reminding herself that he has a terrible reputation and has probably slept with scores of women. She knows that his last mistress was Maria It's not that hard. Maria Bartolomeo. Is
this the same opera singer that Antony was sleeping with?
Good question. Because they describe her as the Italian soprano, famed for her beauty and her voice. And I was like, what? And so I did look it up.
Okay, did you think the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Maria Rosso was also an Italian soprano, and she debuted in London in 1812. I went back into the Viscount Who Loved Me and looked that up. So she debuted in 1812. We're in 1825.
So you don't think it's the same person?
I don't think so. Which is very interesting because they're both named Maria and they're both Italian sopranos.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they have different last names. So I was like, did she get married? But no, because she's still mistressing. I don't know.
I mean, that isn't that. I don't think that'd be unusual for an opera singer. I don't know if they marry.
I think they can.
I feel like it's got to be the same woman. I feel like it's got to be.
That's so interesting.
Because if she could have debuted as early as like even singing. She could have debuted as early as 18.
Okay,
and could have been screwing Antony.
She'd be in her third.
I hate that, but right 30s. Now she'd be in her late 30s,
like 36, wouldn't she? Wait.
Oh yeah. Right, 18 plus
18.
What are we at? 1824.
So she made her debut in 1812 or in 1825. So 12 and 12 was 24.
No, she'd be like 32.
Okay.
So that's not unreasonable to think that would be.
How old is Gareth?
Gareth is like 20.
He's 28.
Yeah. So it's not that crazy.
It's not. Oh my God. Is it the same Maria?
It's got to be the same Maria.
Dude, she's making her rounds.
Because there's no way. She had to have changed her second name. Like, there's
maybe she probably got married
way.
a couple times throughout that time frame.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm. That's got to be what it is.
I love that.
I don't believe anything else.
Okay.
Oh my God. What is it called? They're Eskimo brothers.
Oh yeah. Him and Anthony.
Why didn't they should bond over that.
I wonder, somebody write that fanfic.
When they're talking about their
they're all married.
Like
they're all married. And they're together like at a party, they're playing Pall Mall. And then it gets brought up.
That makes me like my skin crawl in a bad way, thinking about them talking about that while their
wives are there.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe at a club. Maybe at the club.
Still makes me.
I think it's funny in this context. Anyway, she knows his last mistress was this Maria, and how could she compete against that? She's comparing her beauty to Maria's, which is sad, but so relatable.
Mm-hmm.
The play is about to start, and she notices Gareth's hair shining in the candlelight, and that he's got his hair in a braid, but she didn't call it a braid. She called it something else that I had to Google.
What is it called?
I don't remember.
Is it a braid? Is that what it is? It's a braid?
I Googled it. It was a braid in the back of his head.
Oh my God. I thought that just meant like a ponytail.
I think it's a
braid. Well, I didn't know. I just assumed. I didn't look it up. I assumed. So I'm probably wrong.
But a ponytail I feel like is more of the fashion of that time period.
Yeah, they've never talked about hair. So I always pictured all of them with short hair. So I could be so off base because to be honest, I'm not historically like accurate. I don't know. I can't figure out any of the historical.
Yeah,
like, off
so
the top
hard.
of my head. If you're leaving the pages blank for that, if you're leaving blank spots, I'm filling in with modern shit. I'm thinking Justin Bieber haircut for half of them.
Yeah, same though, for real. Like that's the only way I can do it. But I was like, maybe it is just a ponytail, and I was like, oh my god, that's like not good. But then I thought about Heath Ledger in A Knight's Tale. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh, it's so good. I think it's the similar time period, but that's who I've been picturing.
I can get behind that.
It gets me through.
It's funny because she mentions it being like the rakish hairstyle.
Oh, really?
Of the time, yeah.
That's funny.
I wonder what's like more like what the gentleman hairstyle is of the time.
Oh,
like
right.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Because I'm not joking. I picture like Beauty and the Beat. Justin Bieber. No, like that music video of him and Nicki Minaj. Gelled up.
That was way off.
Gelled up.
Okay.
Like prickly forward, like buzz out the side.
That's hilarious.
Gaston!
I've never even seen Beauty and the Beast all the way. That's
we
facts.
have to.
I know.
Watch it.
Yeah.
What do you mean, like the OG or like the live action?
None of them. What? I was not a Disney kid.
He goes. Oh my god, I love that. It's one of my favorite soundtracks of a movie ever.
Oh. She likes his hair, and he wants to run for the door again, but doesn't. And a minute later, he baas in her ear like a sheep because they were talking about sheep earlier. He's like, bah.
Yeah. It was so awkward.
They're bonding.
It was, but it was awkward because there was like a long pause, and all of a sudden he just like went down and he was like, Could you imagine?
Yeah, I'd be cracking up and not being a good guess.
I'd be like, get out of my ear, you weirdo. Yeah, no, that's fair.
I would like it.
Yeah, that's funny.
90 mind-numbing minutes later, and sadly, our hero was right about the cows. I don't remember. He must have said something about cows.
Yeah, he mentioned about cows.
All right. Then he asks Hyacinth.
And that's so fair. And that's what it is. That's her name.
That's so fair. He asks Hyacinth out for a drink because he said they both deserve one after that. Lady Plinesworth comes over hoping that Gareth will be interested in meeting her daughters. Lady Plinesworth asks Hyacinth if she has her to thank for Mr. St. Clair's presence, and Hyacinth thinks, I'm afraid his grandmother is to blame. She threatened him with her cane. And Lady Plinesworth was like, okay.
Yeah, she didn't know how to respond.
Yeah, she's like trying to move on.
It's like the worst when someone like doesn't understand your humor.
I know. I know you can relate to that.
Yeah. Fuck off. I do.
It just makes things so awkward.
It does.
It's like it makes you feel stupid, but you're not stupid. You're funny.
Oh, I've gotten desensitized to it because it happens pretty often for me personally.
You're just like Hyacinth.
Yeah, that's fine. Move on. I'll live to tell another joke. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Shots at her line of thinking oftentimes. Hyacinth helps the convo along by saying Gareth would be delighted to meet Harriet, the shepherdess. And he says something about, what about the unicorn? And she's like, oh, well, she's only 10. She's not quite ready to be.
Yeah, that was like a joke. And she's like, no, not my 10-year-old.
Hyacinth is like, relax. Like, you're quite a catch. And he says, is one meant to say things quite so directly? And she says, not to one you're not trying to impress. And he says, touche, Bridgerton. Then he asks her if she's read any more of that diary. Hyacinth says his grandmother was really did not want to get married and was not happy about it. She was 17 when she started the diary, and her parents forced the match. The diary doesn't say how they met, but it did mention a party at an uncle's house, which sounds like it might be important, but I don't know. She mentioned she doesn't think that his grandfather compromised her and asks her if she would write in her diary if she was compromised. And Hyacinth keeps dodging the question by saying she doesn't have a diary, and he calls her a coward, which I feel like is a theme.
Yeah.
For these couples. She asks, what about you? Would you do that? And he says, of course not. It would not be fair to the people that I've mentioned. And she says, people? And he says, women. And she blushes, so she doesn't really care about his rakish ways.
No. She claims she does, but I don't think she does. Well, you know what? It's so normal. I mean, look at all of her brothers. Like, they'd be fucking left, right, and center.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like...
She doesn't really react, but just asks, are you really as bad as they say? And he says, no, but don't tell anyone. She says, I didn't think so. And he doesn't want Hyacinth to think too hard about him because she might see right through him and he's not sure what she'll find. Oh, okay. This is the other part that I was confused by.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Okay, so I'm just going to read it verbatim.
Okay.
I just quoted a huge thing. Yes, Lady Bridgerton said frankly, your grandmother told me she was forced to twist your arm to attend. He turned to his grandmother with raised brows. You are going to ruin my reputation. You've done that all on your own, my dear boy, Lady D said. I think what he means, Hyacinth put in, is that he's not likely to be thought dashing and dangerous if the world knows how well he dotes upon you. A slightly awkward silence fell over the group as Hyacinth realized that they had all understood his remark. Gareth found himself taking pity on her, so he filled the gap by saying, I do have another engagement this evening, however, so I'm afraid I must take my leave.
What part confuses you?
Why it was awkward and everyone was pitying her.
Oh, because it's like one of those things where like if someone tells like a subtle joke and like everyone in the room gets it, and then you have that one person is like, oh,
it's funny because
this is what's funny about it, and everyone's like, yeah, we knew why it was funny.
Like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, poor Hyacinth. It just doesn't seem like Hyacinth. They're like throwing in these things where,
because I agree.
She can read the room and she knows what's going on.
I feel like most of the time she can read the room, but I do think they're trying to insert the fact that like her incessant need to always be right and like
maybe
smarter
always
than everyone,
and maybe always wanting to impress, not always, but wanting to impress Gareth at the same time.
Yeah,
all of that.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like for sure, and I think that that's where it's kind of getting at. Is she's like, one thing about Hyacinth is she's going to be talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I'm there. Violet trapped Gareth into going to a ball on Tuesday, and he said, trapped by a master. Which I love that.
By who trapped
So
her?
Violet was...
Violet.
I don't remember what she said, but...
By the way, Violet's amazing.
Violet's perfect.
Yeah, Violet's perfect.
And she trapped Gareth into going to a ball to hang out with Hyacinth.
And who would say no to Lady Bridgerton? Because no one would.
She's a master.
Yeah, she's perfect.
Hyacinth sarcastically says she's beside herself with glee and tells him, don't forget about the shepherdess. You did promise her mother. And he said, wouldn't you like to meet her? And she said, no, but I'll watch you from afar. And quote, and for the rest of the night, he couldn't quite forget the smell of her perfume. Or maybe it was the soft sound of her chuckle. Or maybe it was neither of those things. Maybe it was just her. I love that because all the other guys like find excuses to marry the girl. So they're like never interested in who they are.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know if that's true, but
yeah, I agree. No, I like this.
Yeah.
Michael liked Franny.
Oh, yeah. No one can deny that.
Michael was obsessed with Franny. Although I kind of stand by the fact that I think that Michael was his obsession with Franny started by the fact that he couldn't have her.
You always want me to
stand like that. Stand by that. Chapter 6. Hyacinth is at Bridgerton House for the ball that Kate and Antony have thrown. She is standing and talking with her longtime best friend, Felicity Albansdale, formerly Felicity Featherington.
She married Mr. Albansdale.
The love of her life. Good for her.
Yeah.
Felicity tells Hyacinth that she thinks that she should marry Gareth St. Clair because she thinks that he'd be perfect for her.
They all know.
Yeah, everyone knows. Gareth at this moment is dancing with another woman, and Hyacinth is definitely noticing and is like aware of this. But it's not like a weird thing. Like she's not like jealous or anything.
Yeah,
I don't get that vibe.
I didn't either. She was just noticing. She's just
aware.
She's just got how she always is.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
Clocking it. Yeah.
Felicity thinks that Hyacinth does like him, but Hyacinth does her best to deny this, saying that she doesn't even really know him. Felicity says that he is one of the only people that Hyacinth could not run into the ground. This offends Hyacinth because after the talk that she had with her mother, she's starting to wonder and be concerned on how other people actually see her and like view her as a person.
What is going on here?
Yeah, I thought I was universally loved.
And now I'm just like feared and like abrasive, and
this is directly contradicting everything I thought about myself.
Yeah, jeez. It's like happening so quick too.
Yeah. Felicity clarifies that she doesn't wish to change her, that Hyacinth is perfect, but she needs someone who can match her freak. I forgot that I wrote that.
Is somebody gonna match my freak?
Hey, is somebody gonna match me? Hey.
I love it.
She says that she heard they have been spending more time together, first at the Smythe Smith musicale, and then at the Plainsworth play recital thing.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote. Play recital thing. Whatever the fuck it
What the
was.
fuck it was.
Hyacinth again tried to deny any feelings, but after slipping up and saying that she wouldn't chase him, Felicity calls her out for truly having feelings. And Hyacinth reluctantly is like, yay, okay.
You got me.
I'm interested. As they are speaking, Hyacinth notices that Lord Sinclair walked into the ballroom.
Wait. Oh, which is the dad. Lord is the dad.
The dad, wink, wink. Okay.
The maybe dad.
The maybe dad. The maybe, not the baby daddy.
The maybe daddy.
He definitely didn't step up. He's a stepfather, but he definitely didn't step up. Which is a problem because Gareth and Lord St. Clair rarely, if ever, show up to the same event when the other is in attendance. When that does occur, often there is a very awkward verbal spat between them. And Hyacinth always notices because she notices everything. Felicity and Hyacinth are well aware of how this could go bad. And so Felicity asks Hyacinth what she's going to do. Like it's her responsibility to kind of sway that situation. And Hyacinth decides she's going to ask Gareth to dance.
Oh yeah, that's so progressive of her.
Yeah. And I said, which is, by the way, is not done in society. Women do not ask men to dance.
Yeah.
Now to Gareth. Gareth is dancing with Jane Hotchkiss, a longtime friend, and she is asking what he is looking for because he's looking around the room like Chris said.
Oh.
And he had been glancing around for Hyacinth all night. That's crazy.
He likes her.
He does. But he doesn't understand it in his own mind yet. Like,
right. They're so fucking dumb.
I know.
I'll say it about it.
He told her that he was fine. He wasn't looking for anyone, but she could tell that he was lying because they've been friends for a long time. Yeah. She knew him pretty good. When their dance ended, Hyacinth came up and as politely as she could hinted for Jane to leave and to be anywhere else. And it wasn't subtle at all.
Be anywhere else.
She's like, Jane, they're actually over there. It's Kate and Anthony. If you want to just be like over there for a second with Kate and Anthony and like not where we are here, like over there would be great.
It's because they were the hosts of the ball, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I love this ball. She's like, go tell it to the host.
Yeah, the hosts are right over there.
They're right over there. I see them.
10 feet away. Bye. See you later. It was nice to meet you. When Jane was gone, she asked Gareth to dance. Gareth was surprised, but of course said yes. He liked that she took the initiative to ask him. Ooh. During the first part of the dance, Hyacinth was distracted looking for Lord Sinclair, but he had gone into another room once he saw that Gareth was there. They typically in these balls have like another room for the men to, I'm assuming, like smoke cigars and like talk about finance.
Yeah, I just won a couple $100 at a horse race.
Yeah, and like I was gonna say gambling. And, what other
couple £100
miscellaneous.
I don't know. Who knows?
Gareth asked what she was looking for, which was exactly like mimicking the conversation he had just had with Jane Hotchkiss, by the way. She shook it off and they started talking about his grandmother's diary.
Oh, good.
Hyacinth, by the way, is apparently not a very good dancer. She tries to take the lead during this dance, and he's noticing this in his mind, not saying anything out loud, but she's also very clumsy. He's like, for a woman that's good at everything, she's a fucking trash dancer.
And he thinks it's funny.
He does. He finds it endearing.
Yeah.
She said that she had made progress with another 10 pages, but there were some words that she didn't know, and the Italian dictionary was not very helpful. She thought it was written by a non-Italian person.
Yeah.
She had written to her old governess to ask about a couple words and was waiting on some translation back.
Okay.
Which doesn't matter. But
well, okay, so that doesn't ever come back.
It doesn't.
Okay, because there's a passage in there that there's a popular highlight about the governess. And I was like, is she important? Is it come back? I'm like, why did everyone highlight this? It's really nothing?
No, yeah, no, not.
Okay, I'll read it. It looks like it's in chapter 8.
Okay. At this point in Gareth's grandmother's diary, she made it to the point where the grandmother, Isabella, arrived in England. And he made a joke about being grateful that the diary didn't mention the wedding night, and Hyacinth smiled. She's like, that's funny. I like that joke. That's a nice joke. When she did, he noticed that she was beautiful. He was like, oh my God, when she smiles,
Oh,
that bitch a 10 out of 10.
light up the room.
I like that girl. He told her that since they are friends now, they might as well use each other's given names. Then they talk about how Hyacinth is named after her father's favorite flower and how she never had a chance to meet her father. It was their first real conversation, and it was so nice.
Sweet.
She asked him if he would like to hear the rest of the translation, but the song that they were dancing to was coming to an end. However, there were a couple chairs over in the corner of the ballroom, and they could get some privacy, not in a weird way, but whatever. And he agreed. And
no terrace.
Yeah, it's no terrace. And he agreed, and he let her lead him over to the chairs, which was important because she likes to lead.
Yeah, she needs to lead and have the last word. Yeah.
Yeah. Chapter 7. 10 minutes later, Gareth was in the hall at Bridgerton House. He was thinking about how tonight had been a good evening, even though usually he hated large balls.
I was like, why'd you pause for so long?
I'm a child. Oh. Gareth and Hyacinth had discussed the contents of Isabella's diary.
Isabella is her name. Okay.
Mm-hmm. When she got to England, the first thing she did was slip and fall in the mud, and her new husband, who sucked, by the way, did not bother to help her up.
Damn.
After all of his objectives had been accomplished that evening, at the ball, he contemplated on what to do next, where he was going to go for the rest of the evening. He could go see his latest mistress, who was Maria, and it had been a while since he'd seen her. He liked her.
Yeah.
He decided to go, but first he had to use the men's room to do his business.
Okay.
To pee.
Yeah.
Or poop. Whatever.
We don't talk about that. It's embarrassing to poop.
And as he was in the men's room waiting for his turn on the chamber pot.
I don't know why that's funny.
I don't either. I'm sorry. Okay. And he was whistling, by the way. He was confronted by his father. Stepfather.
Lord C.
His father.
His legal
guardian.
Legal guardian.
It was an awkward and an uncomfortable exchange, and for some reason Gareth always had to poke the bear when it came to his legal guardian. Lord Sinclair noticed that Gareth had been spending a lot of time with Hyacinth. Gareth denied it and made some sort of joke that made his father say that George is spinning in his grave, George, his brother. This makes Gareth snap when he mentions his brother, and he pins his father up against the wall. He told him that he loved George. He was his brother. When Gareth let go, his father told him that Gareth will never have Miss Bridgerton, that she is everything he's not and everything he could never hope to be.
It's so childish.
Yeah.
He just like shows up like, oh, is Gareth interested in somebody? Oh, a Bridgerton? I'm gonna go fuck with him.
Yeah. Well, and it's probably because like he probably is jealous, like upset that he feels like his bastard born legitimized son is gonna marry like one of the most popular families and into the most popular family in and
he doesn't deserve that. Yeah. Okay.
And inherit his baronship.
Yeah. It's just a lot going against Lord St. Clair right now, but we don't care.
Yeah, fuck Lord St. Clair. He says that she will never marry him and, quote, blood runs true. It always does. Then Lord St. Clair brings up the question of who Gareth's father is. It turns out that the Baron does not know and is genuinely asking Gareth. He's like, by the way, did you ever figure out who your father was?
Yeah.
Seriously,
like
really, I don't know.
I really need to know. Was it Stephen from 5th Street?
Dude, was it the other Earl down the road? I don't get it. Why would you cheat on me? I'm the best. No, I'm just kidding. He's not. It made the Baron mad that Gareth's mother would ever have had an affair, not because he loved her, but because he's a piece of shit. And he felt like he had some sort of like ownership of her. But of course, Lord St. Clair manages to turn it around and tell Gareth that he could be a footman's son.
Yeah, you
like
could be a
how
footman's
embarrassing.
Like, that's disgusting.
That's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
He called Gareth a mongrel, but Gareth said, I'm your mongrel, born in wedlock, even if not by your seed. The Baron does get the last word in, by the way, by saying, don't attempt to be better than you are. It's too painful to watch you try.
What? Why? Why would you say that? He doesn't care. Fuck him.
But Gareth is frozen after his father left for a good second. And when he left the men's room, he ran right into Hyacinth in the hallway. Terrible timing. She was asking if he was okay, and all he could see when he looked at her was a forbidden fruit, one his father told him he could never have because he was a mongrel.
Oh, and he always reverts back to like a child's
mindset
when it comes to their father, when it comes to him and his father.
I agree.
So that makes sense.
This turned into lust for her somehow, and he kissed her. It was hard, and it was a hungry kiss. But when he told her to kiss him back, she responded by saying that she was. She was kissing him back. And he thought it would be a good idea to tell her that he would teach her, and she'll get good at it. That was a terrible idea. You can imagine that's not what she wanted to hear. So when he went in for another kiss, she stepped back, and then she ran away. Because as I would, girly. I would.
What the hell, man?
Yeah, someone came in and was like, kiss me back. Don't worry, I'll teach you. You can be good at it. I'd be like, okay.
Well, you're not for me.
First things first. That's rude. Okay.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It was her first kiss, though, so you can't really assume that you're going to be.
Right. Exactly. And there's a quote that I want to say.
Right now?
Well, it's in some... Okay, I'll say it right now. Quote, it seemed a wretchedly unfair conundrum to her. Men wanted their women chaste and untouched, but they mocked them for their lack of experience.
Facts. Factual.
Yeah, she dwells on that a lot in this chapter.
Yeah, because she likes to be good at everything, which is fair. Chapter 8. I don't like being bad at things either. So Hyacinth, I get it. Chapter 8. The next day, Hyacinth is dirtier. I don't know what I meant to. I don't know what I meant to say there. It says Hyacinth is dirtier on the bed.
What is the next sentence?
The next day, Hyacinth is sitting on her bed with Isabella's book next to her, reliving the kiss from the night before. Okay. It must have been autocorrect because when I'm not right dirtier, she's dirtier. She's a dirty girl.
After one kiss,
she's like, I am chaste. I'm not chaste anymore. I am ruined. Hyacinth had relived that kiss with Gareth about 43 times since the night before. The kiss had melted her, and it surprised her so much that she had literally ran away from him. It was so out of character for her, and she didn't know what to think about it all.
Yeah.
She was nervous because it seemed that he hadn't really meant to kiss her. She knew he had gotten into a spat with his father, and she felt it could have been any woman that had been standing there, and he would have kissed them.
That's what it felt like to me, too.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. She also was insulted that he told her to kiss him back and implied that she wasn't a great kisser.
So rude.
And Hyacinth didn't like to be anything but amazing at whatever she did. And it was her first kiss. She wanted it to be magical. She wanted him to be left feeling impressed by her performance. She looked down at the diary and wondered if she should return it. She had made it 22 pages in, but she decided to keep it because she didn't want to rob herself of this oh-so-fun challenge.
Oh, she loves it.
Yeah, when these sorts of things rarely fall into ladies' laps. She had made it to the part where Isabella had been having trouble with asserting herself as lady of the house because her mother-in-law was truly a monster-in-law. As she examined the journal, she realized Isabella sometimes would only write like once or twice a year.
Oh, yeah.
Like she was very sporadic with how many times she was writing.
Yeah, she skipped a bunch of years.
A ton of years. She continued to read, and it seemed as though Isabella had been keeping a very interesting secret. Now to Gareth, who is outside of number 5 about to knock.
Uh-oh. Oh my God, what's the secret?
He knew he had to apologize to Hyacinth after last night's events, but he was nervous, especially since the woman in question was Hyacinth fucking Bridgerton. He was standing there thinking about how he thought she'd return the journal by now and how scared he truly was when she opened the door. And she saw him from her room and came down.
Yeah.
She's like, literally, I've been waiting for you to knock for like 5 minutes.
Like I saw you coming.
Yeah. Apparently, she had already sent him a note summoning him, and she thought that that's why he was there, but he wasn't.
That's so funny.
She told him that they needed to talk and brought him into the sitting room. He started to apologize, but she cut him off and said it wasn't about that. Like she wasn't here. She wasn't trying to talk to him about that.
Right.
He was so confused because she wasn't mad at him.
He's like, what is going on?
And she told him it was about the diary. She wanted to chat with him about what Isabella's secret was.
She's like, yeah, I processed my feelings and this is more interesting.
Yeah, I don't really care about that right now.
She's so funny.
He was relieved that she was not returning the diary and that she wasn't upset. She told him that the diary got interesting, that apparently Isabella had diamonds brought to her from her mother in Italy and she had hid them somewhere in the St. Clair house.
Ooh, a diamond heist.
A heist. She said that the jewels are more than likely still there at the St. Clair house and that they've got to go get them.
Okay, she hasn't even finished the journal, but okay.
Yeah, she should do that first.
Yeah, keep reading, girl.
Yeah. She tries to entice him by saying that those jewels can help him financially when he becomes barren because everyone knows his father is racking up the debt from here to fucking Manchester. I don't know. I don't know wherever
That's
it is.
nearby.
And she tells him that it's better if they find it before his father because if his father finds the jewels, he will definitely sell them just to spite Gareth. He agrees to go look, but says that it'll only be him that goes because it'll have to be in the middle of the night and it'll be dangerous. And if she goes, they might get caught and he will have to marry her. But Hyacinth fights this because of course she does. And she says only she knows the translation and he will need her to find the jewels once in the house. Reluctantly, he agrees to bring her only if she agrees to do everything that he tells her to do with no complaints. She pushes back a little on this, but does give in to this request. With that, they make a plan to go Monday night, and she can hardly wait.
So the quote about the governess was, she said, meaning I haven't written to her in 3 years, although I'm quite certain she would come to my aid now. It's just that I have no idea how busy she is or when she might find the time to reply. The last I'd heard, she'd given birth to twins.
Oh. Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, is that Marina? Was her governess? No, because they were, maybe.
No, it wasn't Marina.
Okay. It's the only one we've known of that had twins. Why is this highlighted? I was like, well, why is this a popular highlight?
No, it can't be Marina because at this point Marina would already be dead.
Yeah, right. Well,
yeah, she would already be dead.
Right, but that was the last she heard. She'd given birth to twins, so it would have been 8 years.
Yeah, she would have known if Marina was dead.
Yeah.
If her governess was dead.
So it was a popular highlight, and there's only like 15 in this entire book. So I'm like, what the fuck do these people want with this?
Yeah, I actually don't.
I don't know.
So I don't know.
It just confused me.
Maybe it was popular because she never got like any correspondence back.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're like, what happened?
Yeah, like I gotta remember this for later. Chapter 9. Monday night, our hero, who has spent much of his life in reckless abandon, is discovering the rather odd sensation of being the more sensible member of a duo. Gareth is walking to number 4. He thinks about if they were caught, the Bridgertons would force them to marry before morning and he'd be shackled to Hyacinth for life. But when he thought about that, it wasn't that horrible. When he gets there, she is ready to go right on time. Of course she is. And she's dressed all in black as instructed, but she's wearing pants and a waistcoat.
Did you say number 4?
Yeah. It's number 5, isn't it? Yeah. I must have just hit the wrong thing. As I was reading that, I'm like, is it number 5? Whatever. Anyways, she's wearing pants and a waistcoat.
I love that for her.
He didn't want to see her in pants because in this outfit, there was no hiding her delectable figure, is what he said. And he didn't want to think about her figure. It was bad enough that he kissed her, but he didn't want to do it again. They head off to the Baron's house. They chat. There's a moment when Hyacinth asks how he knows the Baron will be out. And he's annoyed because he's so aware of his father's movements. And he's just tired of it. They get there, and Gareth hoists Hyacinth up into a window. Quote, Gareth looked up, right at her bottom. He decided to enjoy the view as long as she had no idea she was providing it. Whatever, Gareth, come on. Anyways.
Yikes.
They both get through and decide the jewels are probably in the Baroness's room and head there. They do have to do a bit of sneaking around to avoid the butler. And it reminds me of a video game. And when Colin and Penelope had to sneak around the Bridgerton house.
Oh my God. Yeah. When they went to their ventilations and stuff.
They went to the ventilation system.
This is far more high stakes. And I love it.
Yeah. They went the long way around to get to the main stairs to avoid the butler. And they had to walk up like the side of the stairs as the middle of the stairs always creaked. And he said he doubted his father had the funds to replace them. Just throwing shade at his own thoughts. They looked around and didn't find anything. The clue says it's supposed to be in a cabinet or something. Then they're like, well, what if it's a secret compartment? So they look harder and find a secret compartment that has a note in it. It's in Italian and there's not enough light to read it. Then Gareth clamps his hand over Hyacinth's mouth. Someone is coming. They duck into a closet. Gareth shields her body with his to protect her in case they're caught, which it didn't seem like he gave much thought to that. So I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, it was just like second nature for him to cover her.
Yeah, to protect her.
Aww.
Hyacinth is getting turned on. That's my next line.
Good for her. Slay.
Slay. The butler comes into the room and he notices the drapes are open. And so he looks around and he even opens the closet, but they were way back in there. And for whatever reason, he didn't see them. And so they run back through the house and shimmy back out the window and they laugh and joke all the way home. And Hyacinth loved the thrill of almost being caught. Gareth called her a mad woman because she was so it was so thrilling. This whole thing.
Yeah.
And he admitted it was a tiny bit thrilling. And she said, I knew you weren't a stick. And she's like, in the mud.
Yeah.
So they just like joked and flirted the whole way home. Chapter 10. The next morning, Hyacinth is in a great mood, and Violet picked up on this and commented on it so many times that she had to flee to her bedroom. Hyacinth had translated the note that they found the night before, and she thinks it's a clue to continue their search and that they need to search the library and that it's a book, maybe something scientific or something that has to do with water or things that move. She thinks that if Gareth saw it, or, she showed the note to Gareth, that he might have an idea of what it could mean. And then she gets all smiley and loopy thinking about Gareth and that she thinks that he likes her. Like, he really likes her. She's like, shit, this guy likes me. Quote, she had no doubt that she still drove him a little bit mad, but she seemed to drive everyone a little bit mad. So she decided not to attach too much importance to that. She's like, when you tell a joke and it's not received, you're like, oh, a lot of people don't receive it, so it's whatever.
Yeah. The ones that do receive it are the right people.
That's
the ones
right.
that don't can go away.
Yeah, just go away.
Just go away.
Gareth promised to call on her that afternoon, and it's only noon right now, but she thinks she heard the door. So she runs out into the hallway and runs into Gregory.
This is one of my favorite parts.
And her and Gregory have the best sibling relationship. I really did love Gregory throughout these couple chapters that we see him in. I'm really scared for his book. But
I'm terrified
right now. I love him.
Bone-chillingly terrified.
Yeah. There is a moment that Gregory brushes an imaginary piece of lint off of his sleeve of his riding coat.
Okay, thank God you mentioned that.
Of course. You mentioned it to me. That's hilarious.
The second I saw that, I was like, oh my God, okay, Rhysand.
Yeah, he's got that kind of superior, confident attitude.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like for Rhysand, it's just like a nervous tick, but yeah, it feels like a nervous tick.
That's hilarious.
It doesn't feel like it's like a swab thing at all.
I never thought about it like that.
He's like, lint.
I gotta be clean. Because of their age, Hyacinth and Gregory had always been a bit of cut off from the rest of the family and had always been a bit of their own, a bit of a duo, a bickering, poking frog in the bed sort of duo, but a duo nonetheless. And I love that.
I do too.
Gregory says that he saw Hyacinth with Gareth the other night, and she's afraid it was last night, but he just meant the other night at the Bridgerton house when they were in the corner on the chairs talking in the ballroom.
That's right.
And he's trying to poke around for information, but she just says she's friends with his grandmother. Like, of course we're talking. And he asks her if she is setting her cap for him. And she kind of in her own way says she's been thinking about it. And she says, that's for your ears only, Gregory. I think she thought if she's going to confide in anybody, it's going to be Gregory. But please don't tell anybody. I haven't made a decision yet. He asked if there's anything he can do. And she says, nothing, absolutely nothing. Please, nothing. Don't do anything.
Please leave me alone.
And he tells her he has his approval at least because it would be an excellent match. And I was like, that's funny. It's Gregory. Yeah. But he's making fun of the fact that both of their names end in TH and then starts talking with a lisp.
Yes. You're so fun.
I was like, is Gregory have a lisp? Or does Gareth have a lisp?
Yeah.
I was like, why is he talking like this? I didn't get it. It was a joke. It was not a good enough joke for me.
It was just,
I read too much into it.
I think it's because I don't, Gregory's older than Hyacinth, but I have younger siblings. So I'm very used to that kind of juvenile humor sometimes. Yeah.
I was just reading and texting her every couple of minutes. Because I knew you had read much more than I had at that point.
I can't stop when I start.
I know. Hyacinth said, how on earth mother managed to give birth to 7 perfectly normal children and 1 freak is beyond me. They have the best relationship.
So good.
1 hour later, Gareth calls on Hyacinth and is surprised that Violet is there. He sees Violet because he could only think about Hyacinth. He's like, oh, I'm going to walk in and it's just going to be Hyacinth because she lives here.
Yeah.
But so does Violet. Hyacinth and Gregory are also there, which he didn't fucking notice anyway. Hyacinth was there. And he said Gregory was assessing him with a scary little smile. Gareth had known Gregory a little bit from around town, and they were both students and eaten together at the same time, but they were a couple years apart, so they didn't really run in the same groups. And Gregory says, Hyacinth says you're her special friend. That's such a funny line. Hyacinth and Gregory are squabbling over each other, and Violet just ignores them and offers tea to Mr. St. Clair. They call him Mr. St. Clair way more than they call him Gareth.
Yeah. Well, I think you're supposed to unless you are more on like.
Yeah, which makes sense. But we've been saying Gareth. When they mention him by Mr. St. Clair.
True.
Which is whatever. He's doing okay during these conversations, and Lady Bridgerton asks, you don't come from a large family, do you? And he says, no, just myself and my brother. And then he like stops himself and he says, he passed on last year. And Violet's apology was so sincere that Gareth almost felt that he needed to comfort her.
Aww.
He looked into her eyes and realized that she understood. Because his friends at school and stuff, they would say sorry and like pat him on the shoulder and stuff, but they didn't really understand. But he could tell that Violet did. And in this moment, he compares Hyacinth with Violet and how they both mean what they say when they say it. He said George was an exceptional brother and the world is poorer for his loss. R.I.P. George.
R.I.P.
That's so sad.
It's hard though because his like even when they talk about him, it's so fleeting that like I kind of forgot that he existed. Like in the second half. Yeah. Or like past this point. Yeah, I don't know. It was he just didn't have a lot of screen time or a lot of book time. So I like forgot like it was significant to Gareth's story, but I honestly forgot. Yeah. It's bad. I know. That's bad. That's not good.
Yeah, I mean it was just a way for him to like inherit the
earldom. The baronship.
The baronship. He's not an earl. They talk about Lady Danbury a little bit, and Violet mentions a couple times how highly she speaks of Gareth, and it couldn't be clearer to Gareth that Violet wants him to propose to Hyacinth.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not subtle about it. But Gareth thinks that if she knew the truth about his blood, that she would not feel the same way. They talk about this and that, and Violet slips out amongst Hyacinth and Gregory's bickering, but then she comes back. It's because Daphne is here to visit.
Daphne!
She makes an appearance. She doesn't have anything super exciting to say.
Our least favorite Bridgerton.
But she does give us some snippets of her children.
Yay.
David wants a puppy.
Good for David.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
And Carolyn wants to spend time at Benedict's because they had spent like 3 weeks there and he was teaching her how to paint. And also Benedict has 2 paintings in the National Gallery now. So woo.
Good for him.
Yeah. So just a little update from our other Bridgerton.
Yay.
That's all. What the fuck else was she there for?
I think she just takes tea there. Like she lives for the most part in London.
She's like, what? I haven't mentioned Daphne in a while. I'll write her into this. Scene.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Daphne's in a lot of books.
Yeah, it's just briefly, here and there.
Yeah.
Then Hyacinth announces she wants to go for a walk. Gareth offers to escort her, and Violet says the crocuses are in bloom past the guardhouse, which is like super far away, giving them plenty of time for a walk. And everyone knows what's going on here. They're like, go walk 45 minutes to an hour and a half.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Gregory offers to come too, but stays after the look Hyacinth throws him. And then Gareth says, don't worry, she'll be safe with me. And Gregory says, I know, but will you be safe with her? It's just so funny. Gregory's funny.
Yeah, they're funny with each other. I think I love their relationship.
Chapter 11. 15 minutes later, Hyacinth is completely unaware that her life is about to change. Hyacinth's maid, Frances, escorts them, but will be very discreet and stay away because Hyacinth is going to bribe her with peppermints. So she's a super easy to bribe. Yeah.
All the best maids are.
That's true. Hyacinth tells Gareth they need to focus their search in the library. She's like all about this jewel heist. He says that if Isabella wanted to hide something from her husband, the library was the perfect place to do it, except for the bedroom. But that's not a topic for your ears. She says she thinks he was so patently sarcastic that she could do nothing but scowl. He thanks her for all the work that she's putting into this, though. Hyacinth is excited to have something to focus on, something to distract her from her life, and she didn't even realize that she needed a distraction and how desperately she wanted to change. But now, after this, she had a feeling that nothing would ever be the same. I think she's being a little bit dramatic.
Yeah, I agree.
It's fine, though. Gareth tells her that she's not going to the library, and then he's going alone, and she's a little bit upset about that. They talk and they flirt and they banter and they back and forth, and they're sarcastic and they're quick and they're witty, and it's cute. She feels the need to apologize for her family's attempts to throw Hyacinth at Gareth for marriage and says, "You're hardly the first gentleman they've tried to foist me upon."
Foist.
I had to go back and look that word up because I didn't write that down. I'm like, what did she say?
I love it.
But if they think that they will make a good match, that's fine because they need to spend a lot of time together anyways to figure out these clues. And she said again, they're mad to get me off their hands. And Gareth is tired of the way that she's talking about her family. He says, "I don't think you're being fair to your family. You're lucky to have them. They only love you and want what's best for you." And she tries to tease him and say, "Are you saying you're what's best for me?" Because she doesn't know how to take this shift in his mood.
Yeah.
And he says, quote, "You should count your blessings that you came from a large and loving family. Do you have any idea how many people I have in this world? Do you? Just one, my grandmother, and I would lay down my life for her. Do you know what it means to be alone? Not for an hour, not for an evening, but just to absolutely know that in a few years you will have no one. I would give the world to have one more person for whom I would lay down my life." And Hyacinth knows right then and there, in a flash, that she was going to marry this man and no one else would do. Because Gareth Sinclair knew what was important in life. He was funny, he was dry, but he knew what was important, and Hyacinth had never realized before just how important that was to her. And she had the sense that she was only just now seeing the man beneath the surface. Gareth snaps out of this weird mood and they go to walk back to the house, but his father is walking down the path coming straight toward them. Lord St. Clair.
Yeah.
He sucks.
I'll be honest, I will say I'm going to validate her feelings because literally in the last week, like it's felt like very heavy on her with how her family's perspectives have shifted. And they're so desperate to get Hyacinth off their hands. But with Eloise, they let her just like be until she was 28. Like that's such a double standard to me.
Yeah. And she's the youngest. So like, she's the last one of less girl.
Yeah. And so I just think that's so interesting. Like I would be a little annoyed too.
It's definitely valid, but
But I do understand his feelings too, where he's like, I'm jealous.
Yeah. Like I want people to harp on me.
Yeah.
Because they love me so much.
Yeah.
Hyacinth asks, "Do you want to go?" giving him the option to run or to confront, but he says no, he's going to stay. Lord St. Clair approaches them and is super fucking annoying. You can tell he has an agenda. You can tell that he knows. It's like an I know something you don't know kind of way that he's like acting.
He's taunting them.
Yeah, and he says things like, "Oh, it's so odd to see you here with Miss Bridgerton. You're always so charming, Miss Bridgerton. Do you enjoy my son's company?" And she says, "Oh, he's an amazing companion. Of course I do. You must be very proud of him." And he's like, "Well, proud is such a nuanced thing. I wouldn't say that." And she's like, "Well, it's rather straightforward, I would think." quick with a remark. She always is. And she said, although the Baron was pleasing and surprisingly youthful with blue eyes and high, wide cheekbones, Hyacinth disliked him on sight. They talk about how everyone views the world with clarity and in blacks and whites. And he asks Hyacinth if she sees things in black and white or is it painted in shades of gray? And she says, it depends. And she's not falling for this weird game that he's playing. Blah, 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 blah. He leaves. He tells Hyacinth, quote, "Just make certain you are in possession of all your information before you form your opinions or before you make any decisions," which is like, hello.
Yeah.
What is he talking about?
Yeah.
Before she can respond, Gareth drags her away with the excuse that her family will miss her. She tries to ask him what that was about, but he says nothing. And his voice was sharp and hurt and 100 other things she never thought it could be. And then she says, "What are we going to do?" And he says, "We." And she's like, "Yeah, we." And he says, "We are going to do nothing. We are going back home and I'm going to go have a drink." She straight up asks, "Why do you hate him so much?" And he didn't answer. And it was clear he wasn't going to answer. And he asks, "Well, do you want to walk with your maid or do you want to walk with me?" Because she's like asking all these questions.
Yeah.
And she looks over her shoulder where her maid is still standing like 20 feet behind them near a tree, not looking bored at all. And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm going to need so many peppermints for this." And that's the end of the chapter, and that's where we're leaving off for this week.
It's a good place.
Yeah.
It's a good place.
Yeah, it's going to ramp up, I assume.
Leaves you wanting more for sure.
Yeah, it's like, where are these jewels? It's going to be like Simon's letters from his dad.
I can't even talk about it because it still kind of annoys me how they played out the jewels.
Yeah.
But it'll come back. It will come back.
All right, let's wrap this up. What's your quote of the week?
If you want to know if a gentleman loves you, her mother said, there is only one true way to be sure. Lady Danbury leaned forward, even Hyacinth leaned forward as she was holding the book. It's in his kiss, her mother whispered. It's all there in his kiss.
That's the name of the book.
I love it.
It's in his kiss. And their second kiss is much better than the first. Much better. Mine was, I would give the world to have one more person for whom I would lay down my life.
I do. I love that too.
I sympathize with him.
Ugh.
Who would you be?
I would be, oh my God, the maid.
Frances?
Walking behind.
Me too. Yep. Why are we always on the same page with that?
Because we
love that.
We're best friends.
That's so funny. Who would you want to be?
Hyacinth. There's nothing I think that I would be like, I don't like this.
Yeah, Hyacinth. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
I picked David. Daphne's son because it sounds like he might be getting a puppy.
I'm in a good spot. I'm actually dead. That's hilarious. In a good spot.
Who's your favorite character so far?
I would say I think Hyacinth. I think I relate to her the most, and I really enjoy reading about her. She's smart. She's witty. Or Lady Danbury.
Okay, yeah, they're both in a similar vein. I did pick Hyacinth just because we're getting a little bit more of her.
Yeah, and I like
We've gotten a lot of Lady Danbury.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote down that Hyacinth has banter with everyone, like the banter between the Gilmore Girls. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's like just super quick and super clever.
Yeah, she's very good.
She also reminds me of Louise from Bob's Burgers. Have you ever seen that?
No.
She's very quick and very witty and just like sarcastic. And
yeah.
She always got a clap back.
I love it.
Who's your least favorite character?
Oh, Lord Sinclair.
Yeah, he's just, it's like whatever. It's like what, but the way that he's like taunting, like I know something you don't know.
Yeah, it's so irritating.
It's so childish. Like he doesn't need to be interfering at all.
No, he needs to just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Ugh. Or I don't know. Just honestly, just shut the fuck up. That's what he needs to do.
It's totally fine.
Is that yours too?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was.
He's the worst.
Who else would it be?
No one.
Daphne.
Daphne.
Her one little snippet, her paragraph.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's part 1 of It's in His Kiss, which we didn't even get the kiss, but it's fine.
We got a kiss.
Yeah, but not the kiss.
No, not the kiss. No.
Not the kiss that she was like, oh.
Yeah.
That's the kiss. Next week, we're going to be finishing it up. And thank you guys so much for listening. Please rate and review 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
Yes. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please email us at litlibationspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, send us your fan art and fan fiction. Someone already sent us a bunch of fanfics, so send yours in. We want to read it. Same website.
Same website. litlibationspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Wait,
and then
that's not a website. That's an email.
Yeah. That was the email.
Litlibations. What is the email?
litlibationspodcast.com.
Okay.
So you can find everything there.
Yeah. Boom.
You can suggest anything you want there. You can email us, whatever. Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yay. Thank you guys.
Episode. Yeah. We'll see you next time.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.